Sonics are still in second. The race for first is on. So, get out of your condo. It's time to Rondo.
Thank you so much, Barney. Thank you so much, Sandstorm, for setting us up for the final Rondo match of this Esports World Cup. I'm Toby, I'm joined by Godspeed. We will be the ones to bring you through the action of what most likely, Godspeed, will be a chaotic Rondo, followed by arguably some even more chaotic games on Erangel.
Yeah, we talk about how Erangel is the map they have thousands of hours on, but at this point, with this much on the line and such a tight race at the top of this leaderboard, it's so chaotic. Anything can really happen when we go to that map. But to focus on Rondo, James is absolutely right. This is the last chance of chaos, right?
Yes.
Rondo has been so unpredictable. Even though our circles have been fairly similar, the map itself, it just has so many different variables for these teams to actually interact with.
Definitely. Everyone saw this coming in as a three-horse race with Sonics, FaZe, and TSM running it in. But Petrichor came in the very last match and said, you know what? I think we'll add a fourth team to that party. And now with them set in first place, who's to say what can happen? 17, Danawa, Kwangdong Freaks and Daytrade also not out of the race. And now let's see, speaking of Freaks, they're going to have to share, at least for now, Stadium with Tianba.
Yeah, but Tianba still going through their issues, right? Still having that same age-old problem of just keeping more than two members alive past Circle 2.
What is this circle?
We've never gone down to the southwest.
No,
yes!
What? We are as far away from the plane path as anything I have ever seen. In a game where everything matters to this extent, look at what we've been given. Not a single player was inside the circle when it popped. I've never seen this before.
You want to talk about chaos, Toby? Here we go. In the southwest is where our final Rondo will land, and I cannot wait to see the different areas that these teams, the different compounds that these guys are going to be able to occupy. We have Fong Tung, we have Rin Zhang, please excuse my pronunciation, Hung Shan. I mean, there's so many, and then not only that, Toby, the river.
Yeah.
The fact that that's going to play into the land ratio, this is going to be so sick.
And well, the first team to get to reap the rewards of this absurd circle shift is going to be Cerberus. Right now, the only team inside this first circle. Daytrade is joining the FaZe and Cars. Everyone had started looting, but go, wait, look at this circle. We need to go right now.
Yeah, and this is definitely the play. If you're one of the teams that was closer to the edge of the circle, like your Daytrades, like your Cerberus, like your FaZe, get into the circle earlier, specifically because of that plane path.
Exactly.
They're going to know that none of the other teams are even close to this area.
Exactly, and there's, I mean, let alone the fact that we have all these rotations coming in. We saw trigger rotations in previous matches where teams run into one another. This is still, for the most part, uncharted territory, especially in competitive players. We see here Taemin, not sure what kind of solo mission he's on, but he has Roth isolated from the rest of the Falcon squad. And as a matter of fact, Anonix is actually on the southern side of this compound too. So they might just be able to find the Falcon side jail without any clue that he has opponents around him.
And the issue for Roth is he's had a rough go at this event. I mean, there's no way around it. I've talked to him. He's been a little disappointed, but now being crashed by multiple members here of Danawa. Deal, the first one, the tip of the spear, and now here comes Loki. Careful now.
Yep, don't want to get yourself knocked before you approach this one. Roth now to low HP, well placed. Util there by Deal, and Onyx still outside the building on the other side. For now, it's just Deal inside the building proper, but as we can see on the map here, there's no world in which Falcons get here in time. They're still looting. None of them are getting into cars. There's just definitely going to be a Roth on his own. Having said that, we have seen a lot of insane solo plays in this tournament so far. So don't count Roth out completely just yet. As I say that, though, on Onyx, one tap to the dome with the Dragunov is all that's needed to find the Falcon side GL.
Yeah, that would have been a heroic effort for him to take out basically every member of Danawa, and so you almost saw it in his face there, just kind of a sigh there, like, here we go again. And so Falcons will have to do it with Ree, and again, for a team that did so well in the groups, as the desk was talking about, is CC now taking some shots, won't find the knock. They have really not been able to find their footing here in the grand finals.
It's been tough. It's been tough for sure. They really started off strong in the group stage, but couldn't carry that momentum over to the finals, and that's what Des said too. I mean, they effectively need all their games now to go exactly the way they want him to, and obviously this start of losing Roth is not exactly what they had dialed up for this final Rondo match.
But at least they have 3, so we'll keep up with them to see what they can do, especially that roster. I mean, those 3 can make a lot of magic happen. We'll just have to see. First of all, they need to get into the circle, Toby, because now we see a lot more teams rotating into the circle. We have Na'Vi now making their way towards the central, which is now occupied by Cerberus. You have the Expendables actually coming in off of an emergency pickup, so they're going to have a nice spot to play just on the east side of this, overlooking most of the circle.
Yeah, TSM did the exact same thing. They're currently landing down towards Long Ho on the very southwestern side of this map. Na'Vi coming in over the northern side of the river as well. Slow on approach, just clearing out buildings in front of them as AG2 have found their way towards the center of this. We see it here, and again, look at how far away. I mean, Falcons, the distance they have to travel down towards this circle is almost longer than, I mean, Irankle is altogether. It's insane. They're going, I mean, past Primorsk if that started in Stalbert with that distance.
Right, and exactly. You think about the surface area that they have to cover because there's really no water in the circle. These rotations are going to be very, very long, and so especially for the teams coming in late, Toby, they are not going to have realistically any information on what's happening within the circle, and that's going to be a big issue for them.
Yes, we'll see here. They get to flip that vehicle around. They do want to have those PKO buses in the late game. They're so incredibly silent, so can make for some really good pull-up vehicles as Xiaowu gets back on all 4 tires, and we'll see where 17 ups to set up shop coming in from the east.
And this probably won't come into play too much, but what people may not realize about the Pico bus and the electric vehicle is they run out of fuel or electricity much quicker than a gasoline vehicle. So a lot of those long rotations, they may have to find other vehicles along that play path.
Definitely do. The QBU UMP combo is not something you see too often. But having said that, Expendables did make great use of the UMP yesterday. It was in the hands of Delvin, of course. But I'm sure 777 is equally capable of dishing out some SMG damage as we now hop over to Sonics, one of the few teams that all our eyes are on. Currently 2 points out of first place after that phenomenal Petrichor game in the previous one. They're still far away from the circle, a long journey for them to go. But of course, coming into this next circle, will they get a northeastern shift? Or if this, I mean, continues down towards the southwest, how do teams maneuver? Again, in terms of competitive play, we are in very, very uncharted territory.
Yeah, and I mean, I've played a decent amount of Rondo myself, but I would be lying to you if I said I knew every area of this side of the map. I mean, generally, you're usually somewhere in the center. You go a little bit towards the north, like Jiaotin, or east. Danqing is pretty popular for circles in there. I don't think I've played many circles in this area at all.
Yep. Well, I mean, we'll see. Falcons as well on rotation, of course, down 1 player. The only team to take casualties thus far in the game. Still also a very, very long rotation to make. Not sure if they had maybe hoped to find an E-pickup. They did opt to stay in their loot spot for a little while longer, but none was found, and they too will have to drive their way towards the circle. A long journey ahead of them. I mean, honestly, there's no way they get to the circle before the blue pops, or before the next circle pops, I should say. But we'll see what they opt to do once the next circle does reveal itself.
And something else to note about the circle, if you look at the center of it, it's actually in a bowl. So where FaZe is currently sat, it's kind of in a bowl. So the surrounding areas, you see a lot of teams setting up, especially on the west side, especially on the Expendables of FaZe. Currently our 3rd place team running straight into Cerberus, and that's going to be a trade back and forth. So Losley will find Gustav and Jeeps with a double.
I was just going to say, this is an incredibly good read on the split by FaZe, but they lose Gustav. James is now down as well. Is there going to be cavalry arriving? Yes, there is. Dogmai is instantly pulling up to this one, and I believe Haisaki is going to turn back and join this party too. But Corexi able to find Dogmai early on. Haisaki, is he going to fully commit to this, or is he not? Seems like he's going to go for it. Will he find this one? Gustav currently on his own. Has Fex there. He has to come off the rest. Can he do this? 1 versus 2. Haisaki is a very capable player, but let's see how much he commits to it.
You have to imagine that FaZe is going to play this as safe as possible, make sure they play for the trades, more importantly, especially because they know that Cerberus only has 1 member left, and Haisaki is they're now coming around the backside. These nades landing over.
Ooh,
Must be very careful. That was close.
Sapao gets one from a distance. This is dangerous. Goes to show that they're there too. And just as Cerberus falls, FaZe falls immediately after.
And if you are the teams that are currently in the top, that is music to your ears to see that kill feed.
And for Na'Vi as well, now realizing one of the very dead center compounds is up for grabs. Not only that, but you get 8 sets of loot within it too. Na'Vi makes perfect sense. They're going for it. But as we saw here just before, all gamers global are eyeing that compound. Tuichu assesses this on his own. They're in a wide four-way split. So I like the fact that Na'Vi is full speed sending it, saying, guys, this is ours. You got 1 point, sure, but it's our compound.
And that is a good split for them to have in this circle. They have so much control, specifically in the north. And like I said, if you're TSM, you heard that fight, you see FaZe go down, you're like, yes. Because again, I mean, the implications of winning this tournament, the prize pool alone, but also Martin talked about it, the PGC points.
Yeah.
Massive.
Massive indeed. Let's see where this next circle is going to take us. Do we continue the venture south? Yes, we do. TSM currently sat dead center, but in a 2-2 split, we'll see how long they up to try and maintain that form.
Yeah, and that's a hard split to consolidate, especially in that Bulls. You see BB team around that area as well. Falcons, meanwhile, coming in. Danawa just to their west side, rotating in. Remember, they did lose Roth early, so there's only a 3-man here to deal with as they, I mean, they're going to have a bridge potentially to cross here. There's only one way from the east to the west, and that's going to be mainly the bridge that Daytrade's currently sitting on.
Either that or you wrap all the way down towards the south, down to one Falcons, that is. Chiampa, in the meantime, on their rotation, able to keep 4 players up this time around as we hop over to Ixlif. Suppressed M4, yet a combo you don't see too often. Of course, when you can't find your compensator, that's what you got to work with.
Now we also see Sonics coming in from emergency pickup, and they're going to be dropping right towards the center, and they're actually potentially dropping right on top of TSM.
This would be a huge, huge fight. Second against fourth with FaZe already eliminated. If Petrichor sees in the kill feed, they would be very, very pleased indeed, and this is exactly what we're going to see.
And Sonics have landed just to the south of TSM, and they're now neighbors, and that's the last thing you want, especially when you're up this high. The leaderboard is neighbors who are just under you there.
Remember, TSM is in a 2-2 split. They need for Luke and the other remaining player on the team to come back and help them out. If Sonics realize this, they could potentially collapse, but they only have about 5 seconds to execute that play before the cavalry gets there.
And the cavalry is already there, so TSM has consolidated a very wise decision, especially with the team dropping right on top of you, especially when you are dead center in that circle, Toby.
The issue now becomes if they get one knock or just somehow find out who they're up against. Do they go for the fight, or do they say, let's back off, let's just try and defend this as two? Knowing that FaZe has been eliminated as well.
Knowing FaZe is eliminated, kind of hedge your bets there, but you have to imagine, I mean, the pull-off, at least for Sonics, is not possible. They don't have vehicles. They have to commit.
And also, I mean, as we saw here, as soon as TSM leaves the north side compound, it's instantly taken by Expendables. Nice reaction play on them. Yeah, definitely. Tycon looked over the top, saw Daytrade on the other side, as he's now going to fall back towards his compound as well. A lot of these split positions currently being contested, but I'm very curious to see with Sonics, with TSM sharing this compound against second and fourth place, sat dead center. This could have massive implications for who's going to come out victorious in this tournament as a whole.
And then just to the south of them, of course, you have Petrichor Road, right, who is sat just to the east side of KDF, who have a nice wide split on Long Ho, and so there's a potential there for that fight to kick off, but I don't think Sonics or TSM are realistically moving at any point in this game. I mean, this will be their tomb if they are to fall.
Swimsy did get knocked just before, so the info is clearly come across of who is up against who down here, but it seems to me like neither, again with the road there as well, neither is wanting to push over, and with Daytrade on one side, Expendables on the other, it's too dangerous to try and push through, but let's listen into Sonics.
Okay. We did faster. This isn't ending us, we can have a fight.
Yeah. Fight the fight.
It should end on us.
It fucking should end on us, bro. Like there's triangle and water.
Can you one of you put the shield down? My vest is literally one. I don't. The first two vests on me, where you got knocking back.
Okay. So it's not the ship up anymore.
Yo, if this goes north, they might just leave.
They were. No, they're 4 there.
I know they're 4, but
Where is it?
And let's see where this next circle takes us. They're going to stay in it. Petrichor on the southern side will have to make a play. Imagine a world where they two junks that compound.
There's no way.
That would be absolutely insane. But now, up to Expendables we go. They're setting a wide split, but Valatai is up to come say hello.
And you know where this circle's going to shift, right, Toby? It's going to go to the west side here, especially with that bridge still in. But Falcons, they're the ones that need to cross. And it looks like they are opting to go to the north side of that one. But 17 is going to be there to contest them. Is still Valatai and the Expendables entangled in this compound.
I mean, we've lost 11 players already, but even despite that, we're still going to see a lot more fall real soon, as Cloris is going to be the first one to finally shoot Chiampa again. I mean, struggling to keep players alive through the mid-game here, and this match is no different.
So for both of these teams as well, I mean, sitting on the bottom of the leaderboard, at this point, with only 3 games left, you have to go for points. You have to go for the
Yeah,
fights. You
yeah.
need to get the kills. And so wiping this team quick could absolutely give them a little bit of a head start to make sure that they can go to the next fight, because they need to clear multiple teams if they want to make sure that they even have a chance at top 5.
Exactly. Expendables got to approach this, especially now with one player knocked. Megalos does have the dual barrel, sat ready and waiting, but Kiss will be the first one to fall in this engagement. He's around the corner, opts to go for the AK instead, now swaps back around and takes down Delwyn.
Delwyn now still 3 members up for the Expendables. Valley Tie somewhat on the back foot as here comes BB team. They see the fight and they realize that this is their opportunity to get some points.
Knocks on both sides. The timing could not be any better, but for BB team, they need to execute it properly. Adusi almost caught jumping in the open. Latai now cooking a nade, prepping it as good as he possibly can, knowing exactly where he has his opponent. Tanvu up inside the building already, wants to get Megalos down. It's a shotgun versus shotgun, but Megalos comes out victorious. Down to low HP now as well as he's flat. 777. It's going to be able to take him out and reset at least for now, but it's just him left alive on Expendables.
And more importantly for BB team, there was 3 members knocked, so they weren't finished. The points are available for them if they want them, but still, Latai in that other building there, just to their east, trying to throw utility to flush those kills, get those points for his team.
Oh, BB team, if you can place just one good nade in there, that's 4 points coming your way, but they can't find the angle, and it seems to me like Expendables will be able to reset, at least get 3 players back on their feet. Clory's found outside, and that's Freaks from afar joining the party.
Yeah, and Freaks have been keeping their eyes on this for quite a while, especially with the implications of getting that compound. If they see a fractured BB team who they saw just pull up, that would be a huge opportunity for them to come in, get those points, but more importantly, get a foothold into that circle.
Tianba has eyes on this area of the map too. You can see CC is looking down towards here. Issue is that they are hearing the vehicles of Na'Vi rotate real close to them, so don't want to fully commit to eyeing an opportunity for a third party here. Salute is doing circles around the fight. We're seeing, unknown to him, I think, going scary close to both Tianba and Na'Vi.
There is a hill or a ridge at least that separates them, as that will close, and so that compound that they're fighting for isn't even in, Toby.
Massive fight now happening on the southern side of the map, as well as Petrichor and Danawa take to the battlefield. Our current first place team trying to defend that position as Deal once again. He's been striking first for many fights so far, and this one is going to be no different. Chewy down early on.
And with 50 points here, Danawa still in the fight, absolutely, as they're now pushing over. Summer with the nade in his hand. He has to defend this ridge. This is going to be a big moment for him if he can just hold off the line for the rest of Petrichor.
This would be a massive fight for Danawa to watch. Not only would they take out the first place team, but they would get so much space to rotate further forward into the circle. And Onyx is still outside the circle as now the push comes around the side, but Ming instantly connects onto one. Ixlip finds the second, but now Sonics with mortars in hand taking out Ming.
Mortars tag!
And Tickleton finds the third from maximum distance. Sonics interferes and takes out Petrichor.
Are you kidding me? He finds mortars again at a global. He is so accurate with those. That is disgusting from the Sonics, but more importantly, the tickleometry is in play.
Absolutely insane. Both teams wiped from the southern side. As I say that, Danawa obviously still in play, but they have a very, very fast rotation they're going to have to make with phase 4 closing in.
How is he so accurate with those mortars? I don't understand. I mean, that was picture perfect as this fight is still going on. Tanvu will find Bean, and so they are actually fighting back 2 separate teams on 2 different fronts, as they're also dealing with BB team, and now Falcons will try to make the cross of bridge.
Yeah, this one is going to be tough, if not near impossible. Snake is already down. Relo sat on the other side looking forward. That nade had Flood's name written all over it. Great throw by Belmoth. As now the remaining player, Relo, what do you do from here? It's phase 4, you can't rest your teammate. This one is going to be tough for sure.
Still, this fight is going on. Just the corner of this compound is in, Toby, and you can see the 3 members left of the Expendables just trying to slow this one down and get a little bit, just a bit of damage here if they can on BB, but it's not really happening for them. BB team has actually gotten in front of them.
And knowing it's a 3-way split on this one too, Delwyn obviously don't want to over-engage. They know they still have a Velatai player up and alive. They just want to stall. They want to make it tough for the opponents to fight one another, to potentially engage late on it, but they're already on the edge of the circle, and I think that's part of the reason why Expendables are not over-committing to join the fight proper. They have the part of the compound that's left inside the circle. Now let's see here, as Phil first swings the corner, thought there might be an open window there, but that was not the case.
Oh, it was just a Latai there. As you said, he was looking for a different angle, knowing that pushing into a shotgun could be very dangerous, but nope, Best of Luck will take care of it quick. And BB will once again take control of what little edge is left.
As quick as can be as this fight, I won't say comes to a close, because now, of course, Expendables are the next threat for BB teams to have to face, but towards the southeast of the server, Daytrade and Dano is fighting too, with Sonics maybe opting to join in. Could be massive for the first of the top side teams trying to fight for this first place as a doozy. Spots Tanvu has to continue his rotation though.
But again, the problem here is that they're fighting for something that isn't in, and the edge just to the east of them is quite open. There's really no ridges for them to play with, so now the Expendables just trying to get rid of BB team as quick as possible. But BB team still with 3 members alive. It's a 3-on-3, and in the distance you see Sparking with a knock-on win.
Yeah, but Sparking gets one. You see Chiampa joining in on this side as well, as all these teams are starting to feel the hurt, not just from the shots taken, but from the blue damage coming through. 777 wraps around the corner, finds one, almost gets the second, but it's not to be. Expendables down and out as now Luke is able to find Sonics in transition.
And the main problem as well for BB team is that they don't have time to get those reses. This is Sonics now getting picked apart. Only 1 member left. Pretty Curdy with the Panzer. What is he gonna do? Tig hiding just in front of that crate.
Does he know that Tig is sat just around the corner? Solo player left alive for Sonics, and what better way to clear a team than for TSM to not only wipe Sonics, but look at the amount of space they will get if they know full well that they have this entire compound to themselves. They can start flexing up towards the north. They can really set themselves up great for an opportunity to come out victorious in this match.
More importantly, there's a ridge on that road that they can play. So getting rid of Tiggleton and being able to move without pressure of being hit in the back by a solo player is a big boon for them, but again, they have to get rid of Tiggleton first.
Danoa falls now as well, and look, the team that takes them out, Daytrade, still 4 up and alive as they make their way further towards the circle in this one. They've been playing it slow, they know there's been snakes out here, and there is still one in the race. Relo, as you see, crawling on forward, and that's Tiggleton down. Second place down and out. TSM happy to see this happen. This is going to be a huge game for 17. Quantum Freaks, TSM, and Daytrade to catch up to the 3 teams that have managed to separate themselves.
Especially with Daytrade and TSM, they are just 1 point behind each other, but so close to the top 3. And so now Relo with a big opportunity, though, to backstab Daytrade, especially the fact that Daytrade is starting to move forward. They're starting to focus on AGG, and with that, that's an opportunity for him to strike. But Daytrade now also have to make sure they're maintaining their back.
Danadol can definitely get caught by surprise here, but both of these players are just running through meds right now. There is a Kai in here as Norrens falls down. That's Tygon further along the circle side, able to find one. Belmont forced to prone down, try to defend the position, but as you can see here, they're so far out in the open. Relo now, nades in hand. This could be the utter destruction of Daytrade if he's positioning it right. He has 4 nades to lob on over, and these could have Daytrade written all over them.
And not only do Daytrade have to worry about this grenade coming in from Relo, but 17 is actually repositioned on that road ridge to try to get angles onto Daytrade to finish them off, but it's going to be Tycon to fight the first nade onto Danadol. Flash will go down as well, and a bombardment from 3 different teams, all on top of Daytrade.
Nades all over the place, deployable cover falling out of the sky as Daytrade try and dodge and weave to stay alive, as we only now make our way into placement points. The circles keep shifting west, and as we said before, with Tiggleton down and out, TSM has managed to claim the entire southern side of this road, but they need to maintain control. They cannot have players fall to different angles here.
And no, and just to their north, as we're watching still the remnants of Daytrade try to survive, is going to be Na'Vi and KDF, as well as BB team trying to make their way in. But Daytrade is just getting picked apart from every different angle, but now AGG's Tycon and Sapao, the last 2 members, have to find their way in.
A team who's been quiet for quite a while, and this one is Na'Vi still 4 alive up on the northern side, and not only are they 4 up, but they have a really good high ground position to overlook a lot of what's happening down below. Freaks and BB Team Spiro is still fighting on the northwest, but once or if Na'Vi clears out that side, there should be good issues. As you can see here, they get the vision of everyone, but everyone also gets the vision on them. Nice nades being lobbed on over, but they cannot commit to the wraparound. It's simply too strong an angle for Luke to hold.
Yeah, on top of having the blue push you, the real reason they weren't moving forward is just there's not much to play in front of them. Plus, they knew that there was multiple teams just to their west holding them out, and so with only 1 member left of KDF, Na'Vi knows that this is their opportunity to push. This is what they need to do. There is a recovery, though. Salute and Heaven will at least back off for the moment.
Relo finally shoots on forward, finds one instantly taken down, though, by Sparking, but we make our way into our top 4 teams left alive. Na'Vi wants to take this fight separate from everyone else against Quantum Freaks, and it's going to be Heaven to engage first. Ferris falls down now into 2v2.
And Heaven and KDF are not giving up on this. As you said, it's now just down to a 2v2, but the blue, Toby, is coming in. It's going to be pushing these teams closer and closer together, and they don't have time because not only once they finish this fight, they have to find something to play.
Exactly, 17 now with perfect angles up here as well. They had the smoke wall, they had the chance to engage, but once the smoke starts fading away, when you're Na'Vi, you got to make the decision, do we commit to this fight? Do we just go full on, or do we back off? I think Na'Vi here making the smarter decision of the two. There is still a world in which they could wrap out east. They have cast still, but it's not going to be an easy rotation.
The other thing to talk about, Toby, is the implications of the club points for both of these teams. Na'Vi, FaZe as well, who isn't currently alive, but Na'Vi, FaZe, and KDF all with the opportunity to elevate their club quite extensively if they can place high here. And so it's not just PUBG, it's not just BGC. They have to think of their club. And Salute will find SoSed, and Na'Vi will fall.
Solid double coming through for Salute. 5 kills to his name in this match. Is once again now realizing, I think, that TSM is starting to flex out. Heaven still has the ruck for cover. Perfect readjustment on the side of Kwangdong Freaks as they now look further towards the south. They have the high ground position, but Purdy and Alo has a little rich to work with. It's just enough cover for them to sit tight. 17, though, could potentially start working their way into some good off angles depending on where this next shift takes us.
But as you said, once TSM got rid of Sonics, the amount of control they were able to take because of the fights happening on the east with 17 day trade, because of the fight between Na'Vi and KDF, they have completely shut out the circle in certain areas.
Now look at the util situation. 17, 0 smokes. They need to find some path forward into this next circle. They have a bit of a rich line still to work with that will allow them to play the very, very edge of it. But with Kwangdong Freak still alive on the high ground and TSM just over the other side, this is going to be troublesome. They need Freaks to help them out, to potentially get a knock, preferably even 2, to then make an aggressive play of their own.
Problem for the Freaks, though, is they're running out of time, Toby. They're the circle, they are on the slow side of it, but they're running out of time. Xiaowu, at the least, will find a spot to play just to the north side of this, and so he gets a foothold, so to speak. But the rest of his team, you see Xiaobei and Suju on that road ridge, currently held by Sparking, who is now starting to come back and consolidate with his duo in Luke 12.
If they lose Heaven, oh, now the vehicle is coming in. Salute, my friend. You had your teammate crawling down in this direction, and you come in with a car that's going to give up that sneaky plan completely in Heaven, just like that. It's going to be spotted. I thought maybe there was a sneaky play to be made on the side of Kwangdong Freaks, but denied on approach. Salute now peeks on over. It's going to suppress at least Alo for now. Purdy peeks on over, but as you can see here, as soon as they take this fight, 17 from the side opts to engage in.
And you saw Xiaowu trying to potentially go towards the members of KDF to get that angle, but as soon as the damage came out from TSM, he decided the wiser of it, and he backs off back towards the circle in the spot that he had, because he was really in the only decent spot for 17 to play.
4 nades, 5 mollies on the side of TSM. They could really set themselves up for a good engage here, and it makes perfect sense to me that they're not using any of it right now. They Sparking knows he has Xiaobei and Sushu just on the other side, but wait for that next circle to close and let the blue force them closer together to then lob your nade on over once you know exactly where you have your opponents positioned.
And so for KDF, for the time being, we'll have a spot to play just on that northwest side. They're not going to be moving very much at all. TSM will just hold this control. There's no reason for them to do anything else. As you said, just wait. Just wait for the circle to do the work for you. And then 17 just setting up as well, hoping that they might get a shift. Because this phase 7, there will be one more small shift.
Even with a southern shift here, it should still finish on the road or just north of. So I think that's what 17 is waiting for. We know pretty much no matter what, TSM is going to have to get out of their position. Good thing for TSM is they're the one team with the utility available to make such a play. But here we go. It's going to end practically right on the crate or just south thereof. But regardless, it's on the northern side of the road. So Freaks, 17 are going to say, you know what, TSM, you have the numbers, but you're going to come to us.
Exactly. And so they are set up on the edge still, but actually depending on it,
none of them are in.
The onus comes on a TSM here as well to make sure that they gatekeep, right? Because if they see that 17 is currently sitting on the edge as well as KDF, then they know, yes, we have to move first. So we have to make sure that they're stuck on the edge so we can make our approach much easier without having to deal with too many threats.
Does Heaven dare to take the vehicle here? Again, 0 smokes. Oh, no, actually, I take that back. 3 smokes for the team to work with. Not sure how they're split on the players, though. As you see here, Xiaowu also very, very important position. He's really the only player right now that can roam on the northern side and try and potentially force Freaks to take the fight or at least be visible to TSM, so he cannot fall as a solo player. Hey, if he does, there would be no way for the remaining duo of Sushu and Xiaobei to get him up on his feet again.
And you can see that 17 has vehicles, but using them is very difficult.
Yeah.
Especially because there's not much playable space. You see that one rock, which is essentially around where the center circle will be. I mean, the second anyone goes to that rock, parks at a rock, TSM is just going to bombard it with util.
And you see how TSM is currently positioned. Luke is the one holding off any peek on over from 17. Sushu now with that vehicle actually opting to reposition. Going up towards Xiaowu. They're not liking him being sat on his own on that northern side. I like this repositioning, and now actually going straight center. He holds a rock, he holds a crate, and now he's the player sat on the dot.
Plus, if 17 can get rid of KDF, they have so much more room to work with. KDF essentially gatekeeping 17 a little bit, much more so than they are about TSM.
And while Freaks has smokes, they don't have any nades, so engaging at a distance properly for them would be difficult. I am seeing a world, though, where Sushu is going to get shot underneath the car just because of the way he's parked it. But now let's see, nade's going to be locked on forward. Both of the Freaks players are prone down, so damage will be mitigated a bit. But of course, that requires that the damage is going to hit them all together. Now, this push, again, has to come through for TSM eventually. They still have all their smokes. They haven't set up their smoke wall for the push. Are they going to go aggressive with their smokes, though, or are they going to try and play slow through them, potentially allowing for their opponents to lob utility in and take them out on approach?
What I love so much about the way 17 has been playing, though, Toby, is the fact that they have not been complacent. They've been moving around, trying to reposition, looking for these angles, and Xiaowu will find Salute. One more member left, and the heaven is down, which gives 17 the room to breathe.
Twisted Minds had a chance to push while the fight was taking place, but 17 too quick to make it come to a finish. There is deployable cover in the middle of the open, and Sparking is able to open up the ball with the first one. Xiaobei down now, a very difficult 2v4 for 17 Gaming. They have the dot. TSM has to come to them, but this is looking practically impossible.
And so with all the deployable cover coming in, the knock will come out for Luke 12, and it's just one member left. Xiaowu, do they have the utility, or will they just make the push? TSM with a massive opportunity here to take this game away from 17.
And there you go, the game is over, done and dusted. The last Rondo has said goodbye as TSM comes out victorious in a much needed game. We saw FaZe fall early, we saw Sonics fall